What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. And this moment was coming. Golden Boy and Oscar De La Hoya now suing. They've officially filed the paperwork for that lawsuit that I mentioned to you guys, and they're suing Al Haymon for $300 million. Right? So you can go do some digging online. You'll see articles. It talks more in detail. I want to paraphrase, I guess, for the sake of this video and the length of this video. But basically, long story short, Oscar De La Hoya is suing Al Haymon, saying he's not operating in the capacity in which he is supposed to be operating as an advisor. They say he's pretty much multitasking, and it's going against the Muhammad Ali Reform Act. So if you guys want more details, the internet is a powerful tool. Go look up the Muhammad Ali Reform Act, and then you can read. It's a lot of like legal jargon and stuff like that, but you can read through it if you want to get some insight as to what that is. I don't have time in this particular video to talk about it. However, 3 weeks ago I made a video. It was called "The Rise and Fall of Golden Boy," and some of you guys get mad when I say I told you so, but you're also the same ones. The people who are getting mad are the same ones that are disputing what I'm saying. And hopefully one day as boxing fans, we can unite and operate in a capacity that is not driven by emotion or race and things like that. When I made that video, a lot of people left great comments, but there were some people, just look through the comments, and they're battling for Oscar De La Hoya. They act like I'm just shitting on Oscar De La Hoya. That's not about that. I'm trying to give the fans a perspective of what's going on. And oftentimes in the world of boxing, if you say something truthful, but it's offensive, then people get riled up. Their blood gets warm. Like, no, not Oscar. I like Oscar. He's a good dude. I think he has a good heart. I don't agree with everything he does, but I mean, I can say that for anybody in boxing. I don't agree. Mike Tyson's my favorite out of all time. You know what I'm saying? But I don't definitely certainly don't agree with everything Mike Tyson's ever done. You know what I'm saying? So it comes with the territory. But what I was trying to tell you guys in that rise and fall, Oscar is in a very, very difficult position. And again, sometimes people they get blinded by race and blinded by emotion, think I'm just going at people. I'm not going at anyone. This doesn't affect me. If Haymon wins or loses the lawsuit, if Oscar wins or loses the lawsuit, it affects me in the least. I don't get a dime from either side, either way. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why you guys think this involves me. I'm just trying to give a perspective. Now, the reason I say and said that Oscar De La Hoya is in a difficult position, you have to look at it and you have to understand why he feels scorned. He feels scorned because a lot of fighters that he helped groom, he helped cultivate and get to a mainstream level, Adrian Broner, Amir Khan, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, he had involvement in all of their careers because his company, Golden Boy, was working with Al Haymon and Haymon Fighters. This was before the PBC structure and all of this stuff, and Al Haymon coming out with his own belts and all these different types of things, right? So you have to understand in business things can go sour. So if you legitimately put in a lot of time, energy, and your team and your company put in a lot of time and energy into something, and the very next year it was all for nothing almost. That's kind of what happened to Oscar De La Hoya and his company. For example, if I bought you guys a gift, a Christmas gift or a birthday gift, right? Let's say birthday. I like birthday. Let's say a birthday gift, and I bought you a PlayStation 4, right? And 2 weeks later, I come over to your house and it's broken. The controller is all scratched up, and all the discs that I bought you is fucked up, and the PlayStation 4 doesn't operate anymore. Then guess what? I'm gonna be pretty pissed that I spent my hard-earned money, bought you a PlayStation 4 and the controller and the game, and you couldn't even take care of it for 2 weeks. So the reason I use that example is that's kind of what happened. Oscar De La Hoya was in a situation where his company was growing because they had all these rising stars, and he helped groom those stars. He helped put out ads and flyers and work out network deals and get them on HBO or Showtime or whatever, right? Now all of a sudden, Heyman's doing his own thing. He split. Richard Schaefer's no longer with the company, and Oscar De La Hoya is left high and dry. So again, this is not me bashing Oscar De La Hoya. I'm telling you fact. And if anybody wants to dispute these facts, then tell me who Oscar De La Hoya has. I told you in the Rise and Fall video. Oscar has Lucas Matisse, who decided to stay with Oscar De La Hoya and the Golden Boy imprint. And he also has Canelo. He has other people like David Lemieux. He has other people that aren't bona fide stars. That's my whole point. I'm talking about who has been branded to the point where if you were walking down the street and you showed a picture of that person, they may know. Like, you know what I mean? If you ask 20 people, some people may know who Canelo is. You know what I mean? Because they just had the All Access or the HBO 24/7. Canelo fought Mayweather. People might recognize who he is. But if you show the same 20 people a picture of David Lemieux, maybe even a Lucas Matisse, the average person might not know who those guys are. You know what I mean? Out of 20 people. Like, who's David Lemieux? You know what I mean? They'll probably think he's a soccer player, clean cut dude and stuff. But if you did that same test with some of the people represented by Al Haymon, it might be a little bit different. Like Adrian Broner, Danny Garcia. They had the opportunity to just see them on NBC. Broner's all over social media. Floyd Mayweather is also represented by Al Haymon, who just had the most lucrative fight in boxing history. So you see, when you look at these other fighters, even Top Rank has Manny Pacquiao. Who doesn't know who Manny Pacquiao is? My mom knows who Manny Pacquiao is. Doesn't follow boxing at all, right? And that's my whole point. Even like the guys like Lomachenko. Lomachenko's with Top Rank, and so is Felix Verdejo. And those are guys who are considered and rated to be the next, you know what I mean, the next big thing based on their skill level. So as far as I'm concerned, Haymon and also Top Rank, their imprints are moving fine. Top Rank just had part in the most lucrative boxing deal of all time, as well as Mayweather Promotions, as well as Al Haymon. You know what I'm saying? The only person left out of that equation is Oscar De La Hoya. And to me, I think that has made Oscar De La Hoya become salty. If you notice, he always, 1 minute, like a couple years ago, he said Mayweather wins hands down versus Pacquiao because he's quite arguably the best and he's hard to deal with, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you watch Oscar De La Hoya in the pre-fight build-up, his interviews, he sounds like you know what I mean, like angry. Like, have you ever pissed off an ex-girlfriend and then, you know what I mean, you see them in public and they just like mug you? That's kind of how Oscar has that scorned ex-girlfriend type of personality. When he was doing his At Last or Legend Speak, excuse me. Actually, he was on both of them, I think. He just didn't seem, he's like, my heart's with Pacquiao and this, or he was trying to rile fans up on social media saying, show me a copy of your Mayweather Pacquiao tickets. I'll give you free tickets to Canelo Kirkland. You know what I mean? Taking jabs at the competition, things like that. I mean, it's so amazing to me that in boxing, things can be so apparent, yet the fans will act like Stevie Wonder. They'll act blinded to it based on whatever allegiance. Like I said, I have no problem with Oscar De La Hoya. I do think his company is in a difficult position. Again, if you disagree, tell me, aside from Lucas Matisse, who is a great fighter and I enjoy watching him and I'll keep supporting him, but he's not a bona fide star. You know what I mean? You wouldn't say he has more of a following than Danny Garcia. Go look at their Twitters. Go look at Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Especially here in the States, because Lucas Matisse doesn't even speak English. Canelo is a big star. He's a huge star. They're saying that Canelo Kirkland is estimated like 35,000 tickets or something. So I give it to Canelo. But see, herein lies the problem. Canelo is about to fight Kirkland. Now, I picked Canelo to win, but if James Kirkland comes correct, he has the potential and the capability to make it a very difficult fight for Canelo. Even if he doesn't win, if he comes correct, he could potentially give Canelo problems. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like knock him down or just be too much for him, stop him. I really think Kirkland has it. But based on his personality and stuff, I'm still choosing Canelo. I think he's the smarter of the two fighters, more defensively sound and that kind of thing. So if you see, Oscar De La Hoya is in a position where he's forced to put his fighters in tough fights. Canelo Kirkland, despite if you're picking Canelo, it's a tough fight because again, if Canelo don't Canelo, this is another thing. This is me, my honest opinion. I think Canelo is very strong, but I think his power is overstated. I'm not gonna say overrated. I'll say overstated. I don't think he has Triple G power. I think he has good power, but I mean, you look at it, like guys like Josecito Lopez, who had no business at 54, he got a TKO on him. He didn't knock him out cold. Like the last person that I remember him knocking out cold was Carlos Baldomir. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. So I think he has good power. I think he's strong. Mayweather said he was strong, but again, Mayweather's not the biggest welterweight, let alone he fought him at a catchweight, and Canelo had a huge weight advantage. So again, Canelo Kirkland is a dangerous fight if Kirkland is mentally prepared and ready, conditioned, makes weight, and that kind of stuff. So that's a difficult fight for Canelo style wise because we haven't seen Canelo in there with a bigger guy than him with a relentless attack and power. We've seen him against Angulo, but Angulo got gun shy and tentative early because Canelo jumped on him. But if he can't get Kirkland out of there, I'm telling you guys, it's a difficult fight. Then you look at Lucas Matisse, another Golden Boy fighter. He just put him in there with Ruslan Provatnikov, and that was a difficult fight. Some people are saying that's a fight of the year candidate, and Ruslan started coming on strong after he got beat up pretty good in the first half. That's what happens. That's why you see these $300 million lawsuits. Another thing is a telltale sign is when you see a person and they're more concerned with what you're over there doing than their own operations. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole everything in the lawsuit is basically Oscar De La Hoya is not satisfied with the structure of Al Haymon's business. He's saying, hey, this guy is doing this and he's not supposed to be doing this. So, you know what I'm saying? He has the microscope on what Haymon's doing. Obviously, that means that affects you. Now, there's other like boxing channels and people will leave me comments like, oh, they made a video like this, or they'll be like, oh, this video is stupid, go check it out. I don't watch none of that shit because I got shit to do. You know what I'm saying? So, me personally, I don't care what other boxing channels are doing. Like if it's a video I happen to see that I want to watch, then I'll watch it. But for the most part, I'm too busy doing my own thing, dealing with my own brand, living my own life to worry about what other people are doing. You know what I mean? Straight up. So you look at the Golden Boy situation, that's not the case. They're over there looking, Oscar's looking like, oh, what is Al Haymon doing? And again, it's a lawsuit. They could settle out of court. Al Haymon could lose. He could win. The thing is, I told people in the Rise and Fall video, this was coming. And I also told people, you have the burden of proving what you claim. You know what I'm saying? And all I know is from when you're this high, when you're at this level, a lot of times there's little loopholes and there's little things you can do to pacify or justify what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it'd be foolish to think that Al Haymon, a person who is, for the most part, by and large, hated, you know what I mean, a black man with power and different things like that. A lot of people say, oh, he makes the bullshit mismatches. A lot of people hate him, point blank, period. Like, I never see people talk with the same venom towards Bob Arum. Bob Arum's done some crazy stuff too, but you don't never see Oscar De La Hoya, Bob Arum, or certain characters get slandered by, like, I guess you would say more casual boxing fans than Al Haymon. Everything's blamed on Al Haymon. He don't even do any interviews, but they blame Al Haymon. So my point being is when you're hated and you know you're hated, that makes most people, when you've been in the profession that long, that makes you work harder to make sure that you dot your I's and cross your T's. Same thing with Floyd Mayweather. And a lot of people, I think, hate Haymon based on Floyd Mayweather. They hate Mayweather, and Mayweather's the biggest star with Al Haymon, so they're kind of forever linked. Long-standing relationship. And I think it's the same thing for Floyd Mayweather. People hate him so much, it fuels him, and it makes him work harder so they don't make excuses, even though they come up with excuses after the fact. I think Haymon and guys like that who are business savvy and smart do the same thing. Like, there's a lot of rich people, and there's little loopholes you could do, so you end up, like for your taxes, you end up making money and stuff like that, or you don't have to spend that much money on taxes and you can keep your profit. There's little things you can claim on your taxes and get tax refunds or tax credits on them. You know what I mean? So when you're in the business world, I think a guy like Al Haymon, who was in the music industry, he crossed over to sports. I personally don't know that he will just be caught with his pants down in terms of everything. He's been accused of violating the Ali Act previously. So it's possible, but we'll see what Oscar has. Again, in court, you have the burden of proving everything you say. So it'll be interesting to see if Oscar can get that $300 million that he's requesting from this lawsuit. But it further proves what I was telling you all along. And Golden Boy is in a tight spot because, again, if you're not going to be suing someone for $300 million unless you feel like you were wronged or they're imposing or hurting your business. If you weren't hurt, then you don't really care what other people are doing. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I don't care what videos people make. If I fuck with you and I subscribe to you, then I'll pay attention possibly. And even then, sometimes I get busy and I don't even get to see all the videos that some of you guys, people be like, I like Ellie Seckback. You know what I'm saying? Fight Hub, Marcos. I don't have no problem with them dudes, but I don't get a chance to see all of their videos either. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm too busy doing my own thing, my own grind. So that's it. I just want to give you guys some perspective. Make sure you drop me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.